Hey, you guys, this is Professor Vitt. Welcome to Module 4, The Unquiet Sky. If you look on the right here, we have a picture from Manville, Oregon, 1950, one of the most famous UFO photos ever taken. And in fact, we're going to be studying in some part UFOs in this module. So let's move on to what you've got to do. By the way, I don't cover this in the module, but if you're interested, just Google McMinnville, Oregon, 1950, and you will find a lot of information. This is an interesting photo because the guy who looked at it originally for the Condon report concluded that it was consistent with the existence of an extraterrestrial craft or some type of external metal craft or something. He has apparently since changed that analysis a little bit, but it's a fascinating photo and it's a great launching point for us to talk about all the stuff that we want to talk about. Okay, task 1, you are going to be covering ancient aliens. They were old when the Earth was young. This claim that ancient aliens came and helped the human race get started, or built things for the human race, or showed them how to build things, or something like that. Now, please be forewarned, the guy on this podcast, Ken Fetter, is incredibly condescending. He is really, really sarcastic, and he will ridicule people as much as he addresses their arguments on the merits. They even bleep him throughout this podcast. So just do your best to keep that in mind. Don't get upset by him. It's just sort of the shtick that he has, and it's a great way to examine some of these theories. Okay, next you're going to start on part 2. Keep in mind, part 2 starts over again at task 1, just so you know. You are going to answer questions 1 through 12 on page 150, so it'll really be material from the book and the questions that you're answering there. Then, task 2, you are going to use the headings that you find in chapter 5, meaning those concerning perceptual constancies, expectation, clarity and vagueness, etc., 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 and those involving conception, and you're going to use these labels to develop a checklist, and a checklist that allows you to see whether you can trust personal experience in an account of an extraordinary claim. In this case, it would be a UFO. So you're going to use that later on down below. So make a checklist of the headings and then save it. You're going to use it down below. Next up, you are going to read a little overview of the history of UFOs from Ben Radford, answer these questions 1 through 7. Then task 4, this is kind of where the fun starts. You guys are going to investigate a sighting of a UFO from Long Beach, back in the day, near Long Beach anyway. It's the Kelly Johnson incident. You've hit this click here to watch a brief overview of the Johnson incident. Then you're going to look at the actual declassified documents that relate to the Johnson incident. You're going to read the Blue Book file. Now, if you don't, by the way, if you don't believe me that that's the original, because what I did here was I didn't transcribe, somebody else did, some of the letters into more readable format. If you don't believe that they're the original letters, then you can look at the original microfiche here. And you can actually see how hard it is. Here we go. You can see how hard it is to read some of this text. It just seems cruel and unusual if I made you read those. So we're not going to do that. But this is the original Blue Book report that you can look at. If you don't believe me, because you think I'm crazy or something like that, you can always go to the Blue Book archive itself and pull that file. I've included those links. Okay, now, as you've read all that stuff, answer these questions 1 through 8 with a minimum of 20 words. It's just to guarantee that you've read it and you understand what took place. Then, right, you always have balance. You're going to read the report, and then you're going to read a skeptical approach to the report. That's task 6. This is a link from an online skeptical blogger who tries to come up with a natural explanation for what was seen that day. Answer those 5 questions with a minimum of 15 words per question. That should do it for you. Now, there's a surprising, super important here. Tell me where you come down in the end on this sighting. Based on your checklist, do you think there's enough here that you could drive a truck through it, right? So are there problems with the nature of the personal experience? And then tell me where you come down on it. Do you think there was evidence here to believe that there was a UFO? There wasn't enough evidence? What do you think? You're not graded on what you think, but you're graded on how you argue for it. Okay, so that's about a 500-word minimum, just a couple pages on it. Okay, at some point during this module, I'll also go through an extra credit project, and that should fill in some of the time that you have to complete this module. If you guys have any questions or concerns, I'm always here on Saturday, and in fact, I'm alone much of the time. So I'm here for about 30 minutes. You can come in on a Saturday or anytime during the week that I have office hours. Email me, you can call me, you can tweet me, you can Facebook message me, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, keep going, you guys. We're on Module 4 of 6, and I will see you soon.